There are so many Nendoroids in the world, far more than I could even count. But, like everybody else, I want more. So much more. So here are 10 or so Nendoroids that I'd love to own. Now keep in mind that this is my own personal list, but I know you guys all have choices too. So let me know in the comments who you would like to see, and perhaps in a year or two we can look back and see what, if any of these, have appeared. The first one is one that I'm quite frankly surprised hasn't appeared yet. Given how Good Smile like to issue a Samus figure every few years, and the popularity of the scale figure, I'm honestly pretty surprised that they never actually got around to a full-blown Nendoroid as of yet. At first I thought perhaps she just wouldn't work as a Nendoroid, but we have still since received characters such as Doomguy. As it is, a Samus with her Varia suit, or perhaps even a Nendoroid based on her Dread suit to ride off the most recent game, would be most welcome. And, of course, they couldn't not do a Zero Suit Samus Nendoroid too. I suppose this is 2 or 3 wishes, but to me, it's more of a, how have this not released, rather than a, I just wish I'd released this. The next one is Sugimoto Saichi, or the Immortal Sugimoto from Golden Kamuy. Now, Good Smile are quite weird in that they'll release female characters from series, such as Megami from Food Wars and Tessa from Full Metal Panic. I mean, poor old Subaru from ReZero took years to come out, and when he did, he was for some unknown reason a limited release. They never really go back and release the male figures to go alongside them. So, when Good Smile announced a Sherpa from Golden Kamuy, I hope that the main character, the Immortal Sugimoto, would release too. But alas, we are still waiting. Now what baffles me more is that we have Ogata, one of the side villains from the series, grace us with a Nendoroid, but still not the main character in the series itself. Now I am aware that Ogata technically only got in due to a fan vote, but still, I personally wouldn't buy a side character when the main character is absent. Sugimoto absolutely deserves a Nendoroid, so that we can all have him punch a bear, but I really think it's unlikely he'll ever appear. Another one that when I look at series that I'd love a Nendoroid of, Monster Musume is one that I always come back to. Honestly, I'm never really expecting it, but as is the beloved Monster Girl series it is, or at least was, it was prime for merchandise, for which we got a scale figure and a handful of keyrings. It surprised me a lot of how little we actually got. Honestly, I put Mia simply because she's the main girl, but the whole cast would be absolutely welcome. Although now it's been a good few years since the first season of the series, and with no sign of season 2, the chances are but slim. Still, one can hope. Another one that absolutely baffles me that never got a Nendoroid announced, and with season 2 on its way as well. Nagatoro from Don't Toy With Me Nagatoro is such an obvious idea for a Nendoroid. Plenty of variant faces for faceplates, and a well-known character that is going to have some mass appeal. As it is, there seems like there is so little in terms of figures for this series, so I'm going to guess we'll see more soon, at least when season 2 appears. Ah yes, Wiz. This is another one that I feel like we may see at some point. KonoSuba still remains a popular IP, and with people asking for more seasons and the main trio of girls getting frequent re-releases, I'm surprised that we never saw more Nendoroids released from this series. Of course we have so many more characters still to come out, so Wiz is definitely one of them. As I'm winding down my time with one more KonoSuba volume to read, I'd love to see everyone's favourite shopkeeper get a release eventually. I'm sure Veneer would also be a fine choice too. Remember when Good Smile were doing a ton of Nintendo Nendoroids, especially of Fire Emblem characters? I certainly do. Initially I had characters such as Lucina, Chrom or Robin on this list, Or perhaps someone from Three Houses, Lynn perhaps. But then I remembered that there was a character that at one point I was genuinely expect to get a release. Shulk would be an incredibly fun Nendoroid to release, incorporating his powers with the Monado, and it would make for an interesting figure. Perhaps even in a Ricky hero pun to go with it. But as it is, I doubt it'll ever happen. With Xenoblade 3 coming and even Pyra and Mithra becoming even more popular, the chances of Shulk appearing is rather slim. Oh well, one can dream. Ah yes, I was wondering when I'd get to Dragon Quest. Now this is another franchise that I just expected to have seen a ton of Nendoroids for by now. As we got the Luminary a few years back, I genuinely expected we'd see more characters. However, outside of the Die Nendoroids to link with the recent anime, we've not really seen anything. But then my question would be, who? Who would we get from Dragon Quest? Good Smile love their female figures, so I thought perhaps Jade or even Elena for, that nostalgia. Both of course would have tons of potential. But then I looked towards the future and remembered that we do have that remake of Dragon Quest 3 yet to come. So I feel perhaps Erdrick, the hero from the series, would be the obvious choice. Perhaps not a figure that would be so popular in the West, but I know would do rather well in Japan. Either way, it's Dragon Quest, so I know I'd support whoever they decided to release. Next up, we come to another franchise that I almost never hear a bad thing about. Of course, it's one that I feel is rather criminally underrated in the Western world, and that is Lupin the Third. Of course, this one is a bit of a cheat as well, as I feel you couldn't just do a single Lupin figure. Of course not. Lupin, Fujiko, Zenigata, Goemon and Jigen would all be must-have releases. Should it come to it, you could also do the different suits. Now, I believe this is one franchise where it has actually been picked up by Bandai for its S.H figure arts line. Yet the desire to have Lupin and his gang in Nendoroid form, perhaps set up creating a heist or whatever thing they're trying to steal this week in Nendoroid form, is one to be desired. I'd absolutely love to see it. Hololive English. Now I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't sure if to put this on the list, as I really feel it's more of an issue of playing that waiting game. Yet, if you ask me which Nendoroids would I buy in a heartbeat today, of course it would be the Hololive English Myth Girls. While we already have Gorgura releasing in July, I also want the rest of the girls to adorn my shelf. It'll happen eventually, but it doesn't stop me wanting them. Of course, I feel Good Smile is just going to release every single Hololive girl eventually, but I just want the English girls to get their release. Of course, there are 3 Hololive Nendoroids that I'd love to see, but they absolutely will probably never get a release. These are Kiyu Koko, Mano Aloe and Hachama. The first 2 for no longer being with the company, and the third being an alternate version of an existing girl. Then again, we've had the Haikyuu boys in many different releases, same with KonoSuba, so I'm never going to say never. We want our spider-eating god as a Nendoroid. By the way, if you're going to do Amelia Watson, please include Bubba and Small Ame when you do her. Before we get on to my final choice, I want you guys to let me know, who would you love to see in Nendoroid form? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps me know if these type of videos are what you guys want to see. And so, finally, Nico Robin. As if there was any doubt, this is probably the biggest long shot for anything on this list except maybe Mano Aloe. But I'd love to see a Nico Robin Nendoroid. of course, this means that Good Smile would have to get the license for One Piece, and have already released Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Chopper, Sanji, and Law, Sabo, and Ace. But Nico Robin is my favourite character, and of course I'd want my favourite character as a release, as it is, much like Lupin, Bandai have the exclusivity on One Piece releases. Now, it wouldn't be the first time we had a Nico Robin figure in this vein either. In their very short-lived Chibi Arts range, we actually had a design for a Nico Robin release. But, alas, it was cancelled as the line, well, died off.